Hey guys and girls, and welcome to episode 18 of the FPL Pop In Pod. I'm Octavius, and I'm joined as always by Nim Frere. Hello, Nim.
Hey, Meg.
We're of course from the FPL Journal, and well, what a weekend of hot FPL action that was. High scores all over the place. Yeah. But before we get on to our excellent FPL scores this weekend, we should look back at our predictions for game week 26.
Yeah.
Starting with the heavyweight game, Liverpool versus Spurs. Quite controversial, frantic finish.
Definitely.
The only thing that wasn't controversial was the fact that I got the prediction right.
Yes, well done, you. Well
2-2, finally. Desmond written all over that.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been anything.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I said 3-2 to Liverpool, and Liverpool bossed the first half, and Spurs bossed the second half by eye, anyway. However, when take a look at the stats, it was actually Tottenham that had more overall possession, with 65.9% of possession to Liverpool's 34.1% possession.
2/3 to 1/3.
Yeah. It looked a lot more even, as in it looked like Liverpool took the first half and then Tottenham did the second half, but actually, Tottenham just did better overall. The tackles were much closer, though, and fairly high, so there was some
it got quite meaty.
Yeah, Liverpool made 17 tackles and Spurs made 16. But all of that doesn't get away from the fact that I thought Liverpool would score another goal and nick it.
They could quite easily have scored another one.
Yeah, they could.
If that game went on for another 5-10 minutes, it could have been anything.
Yeah, but the way it ended, it definitely, as you said, had Desmond written all over it, so well done you. Well done.
Thank you. Of course, the main talking point from that game were the 2 penalties. Question. Second one was definitely a penalty. Second one was. Kicks him in the back of the leg. First one, I didn't think it was. I still think it was offside. Even though they say Lovren got a touch, I still think he's in offside position when the ball was played. And it's a very soft penalty, if not a dive.
Yeah, I think this one's really difficult. I genuinely, the more I look at them, the more I change my mind on which either of them are. I mean, tending to lean on what you're saying with the second penalty, but the first one, definitely, strikers look for those kind of penalties, and Kane found it. So it's a shame he couldn't have actually put it in the back of the net.
Well, yeah, I suppose if you owned him.
I did.
Yeah. You did?
I did.
Ooh.
No,
she
I do.
Lewd?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do.
I thought she was alluding to
I'm
something.
not getting married. I do.
Okay.
I'm kind of married to Kane for the season, I do.
Kane's fiancée/wife. I'm not sure what she is at the moment, but she has competition.
Oh, don't know about that. There's only one man in my life.
What should we see? Aguero, Sanchez, Mkhitaryan now, is he on the list?
Sanchez, not.
No, he's gone off. Traction's gone now.
No, I never really liked him like that. Just
liked him for his
footballing skills.
His fashion choice. And now he's got bad fashion choice.
See, he likes dogs, and I like dogs, so we had something in common.
Oh.
You can cut that bit.
No, we can't.
Yes, you can.
Speaking of Arsenal, they were, of course, supporting that game against Everton.
Yep.
A game that I, for one, thought would be quite a close one.
Yeah.
Especially on Arsenal's form. And that was pretty much gone in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, like against Palace, their last home game, they completely come out the opening gun, fire on all cylinders, inside 22 minutes, 3-0 up, like they were 4-0 up against Palace. And then they kind of just went on cruise control from there. And Everton were just, I don't know where they were.
Yeah. Wow. I, for one, can tell you I was not expecting that. And I said in the last pod I would need to be wooed back by Arsenal. And I have to admit, I'm feeling pretty wooed this week.
They got a big old broom and just swept you right off
They really did sweep me off my feet. It is good to be back, my friend. Rambo hat-trick, so it's good to see Rambo back because, he's had a lot of injury, and I am a great fan of his when he is on form, and it was just, it was really good to see him back and contributing. What I will say is that we may have scored lots of goals and we may have won the match. Stats-wise, it was much closer than it looked. So Arsenal had just 58.4% possession to Everton's 41.6%. So, it's
reasonably, yeah.
We had 735 touches to Everton's 586. I know that doesn't seem like that much, but compared to some other matches, that's still a lot closer than, some others. And we both conceded 8 fouls each, which is pretty low, obviously, for a match. So
not too bad.
Pretty good. But what I definitely took from the match is that we need to sort out our defence. And if not, we're going to have to keep up the firepower and outscore opponents in future matches. Because that's the only way we're going to win otherwise.
You may have to take the Liverpool route to winning.
Yes.
That we know that you're going to score 3 against us, so we're going to score 4 against you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
But when it comes to my predictions, well off.
Yeah. I got the right result. I said Arsenal win 3-2.
Yeah.
So,
I said Desmond, so,
Bloody Everton.
I'm glad it wasn't. So that was a big surprise. But how did you get on in your big surprise fixture?
It was our big surprise fixture because we shared it.
Of course.
Because we were winging it last time, so we sort of shared it.
We did.
And it was the Leicester-Swansea game.
We win it every week. No,
we do.
It was Leicester-Swansea and it ended up being 1-1, but we both said 2-1 to Swansea. The hashtag giant killing swans.
Yeah.
Too generous again, McDavis. Too generous again.
We were. Well, they were on a good run, So when I first done it, I thought the surprise would be them winning. But then they were sort of the odds on to win.
Yeah.
And it was actually more of a surprise they drew.
Yeah.
So it was kind of surprising.
I can't even say Swans won the stats, really, because Leicester has 60.1% of possession. They have 5 shots on target to Swansea's 1.
Well, you only need 1, didn't you?
But, importantly, Swans remain unbeaten in 4 matches.
5 now.
5
with this FA Cup replay game they just played where they narrowly beat Notts County 8-1.
Get in, Swans.
Yeah, crazy.
Anyway, let's move on to our game reviews. Not that I really want to at all, if that's okay.
That's fine. We can move on.
I suppose we ought to tell the good people or person that listens to this. So,
us when we listen to it back.
Just talking to Nimfria here. We got our first red arrow after 8 game weeks of green.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got just 39 points.
Oh.
The average was 43.
Oh.
That means I got 1,586 points overall, and I'm sat at 823,729. So just still in the top 1 mil.
Well, quite far into the top 1 mil there.
Yeah, I know.
Give yourself some credit.
It was higher up.
It was higher up, but you're still there. Give yourself some credit.
It's taken a while. It's taken a while to get there.
Everyone's had a bad week.
Yeah. And it was my man who let me down, Aguero, as my captain. But I'll talk about that a bit later on. How'd you get on?
I can beat you this week for being further away from the average, because I got 32.
No.
Yeah.
It's depressing, isn't it?
It is. Which takes me to 1,322 points. It sounds larger when you say it like that. One.
Why?
Yeah. you know anything about making things sound bigger. 1.6 mil.
I do not know what you're alluding to, sir.
Of course not. It could have been a lot better. Obviously, I could have had different players. I had Murray first on my bench, who scored, who didn't come in, obviously.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Yeah, even though he outscored all of my midfield and Firmino. And the defence got me 2 points between the 5 of them. So it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
But there's also some good news, which I'll allude to in the player review, which we can stroll straight into.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. It's my star man, that is the good news, which was the only outfield player that actually got me any points or any return of good points.
Okay.
And that was my captain Vardy.
Ooh, Vardy party.
Vardy party. 6 points, so 12 for the captain. Only him and De Gea actually got anything that I could actually have. Disappointed that he didn't get any bonus points.
No, just being greedy.
Yeah, because I was being told that he was on for bonus points until they...
never trust it. Never trust it.
But so I could have had 4 extra, I think, at the time.
You'd just be happy that you got defensive returns from Man United and that you were in a Jones zone like myself.
Yeah.
You know?
I had one of the players from the one clean sheet that was on the Saturday.
Yeah.
I was happy with my captain choice.
Yeah, no, I would be too if I was in your position. My star player is none other than Salah. Salah with his 2 goals, total points of 15, and there's just not much else I can say. This guy is just amazing.
He's got a disgusting amount of composure.
He's just fantastic.
It actually makes me feel physically ill.
Really?
Watching him just...
I forgot that's because you don't own him.
Well, I'm kind of past the fact that I don't own him. It's just the fact that...
now you neither own him or, dislike him. You just loathe him now.
Well, it's just when the ball came to him for that first goal and he's just like, oh, what's he going to do? And he's just like, just going to put it next to him. Just like, oh my God, that guy he's just got too much coolness about him. He's just too cool.
He's cool.
He's
awesome.
He's not a human being. No. He is a pharaoh. He is descended from the gods.
And I should know better to captain
You should always captain Salah.
Most weeks.
You need a t-shirt that says captain Salah.
And I will get onto that a bit later, but I didn't. But he was most definitely my star player.
I think he was the only star player.
Of the week.
of FPL.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But how do you think you'll get on with your fire player for next game week?
The players I currently own, it would probably be Firmino up against Southampton, mainly because Southampton haven't kept a clean sheet yet this calendar year.
Okay, so that is definitely make me feel a lot better about captaining Salah.
Yeah,
game.
And it's kind of between Firmino and Mane, and Mane's kind of off the boil a bit, and Firmino looks a bit more dangerous. So I'd probably side with going with Firmino.
Cool.
As someone who's going to get a goal against Southampton.
Cool.
You know, when Salah allows him to.
Yes.
Is Salah your fire player?
Actually, he's not.
Oh.
I mean, he may well be my he may well be my captain in the next game week, but I'm actually hoping that Wilson will be my fire player against Huddersfield. Whenever people jump on the Wilson bandwagon, he always nosedives.
Yeah.
And doesn't do well. And believe me, I've been on and off the Wilson bandwagon quite a few times this season. But my team definitely needs him to feel less pressured this game week as a bandwagon and just go back to enjoying football as he did before everybody bought him in the FPL.
Yeah, all you people who ruined him.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, I didn't buy it.
So,
Can't blame me.
I'm hoping he'll be my fire player. But even though I'm hoping Wilson will be my fire player, I actually don't have anyone who is my lightning player this game week. Nobody lit the spark for me. Salah, maybe you could think about putting him in this category, but he's far too consistent to be in that.
Yeah.
He really
it's
is.
more of a lightning when he doesn't do something.
Yeah.
In fact, that's probably more of a blue moon.
So we just
eclipse.
can't put him in this category. So there was just no lightning for me. It's just been miserable, horrible,
Muggy.
dank, drizzly,
Muggy.
cold,
Muggy.
rain,
Muggy.
weekend.
Muggy. Say that it was muggy.
It was muggy! Oh boy!
Oh, it was a muggy weekend.
Yeah, sunshine.
Well, my lightning pick is myself.
Ooh.
Yeah. For the sheer fact.
Big-headed,
But for the sheer fact that I captained the only person who done anything.
So
That's not going to happen again.
That Vardy actually did something.
Well, no, because I'd expect him to score a goal.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would. That's why I captained. But it's the sheer fact that I didn't captain like De Bruyne or someone like that who ended up getting like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
The sheer fact that I captained someone and it actually worked.
Yeah, no, good on you.
Damn it.
You're allowed to celebrate.
Yeah, I will. I'm drinking lots.
We do not
Now-
condone that, by the way.
No,
No.
maybe.
In moderation.
Yeah. Drink responsibly, children. Not children, younger, just drink responsibly. Now a category that could be overflowed with people
Oh, don't.
is Duff Puffs.
Duff Puff.
Duff Puff.
Can I put my whole team in, please? All of them.
Probably.
Duff Puff the team.
Duff Puff the team. Hashtag Duff Puff the team. Have you narrowed it down to one person? Have you got a series of people?
Honestly, there's many candidates. Jones for not showing up. Thibaut for doing badly again. But I think if I have to just narrowly put it down to one person,
Put all the puff on one person.
I have to feel that I was most let down by my man Aguero.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a feeling not to captain him, and I was kind of lured in by the always Captain Aguero thing that was happening on Twitter, and he'd done well the previous 2 weeks and he had a fairly good fixture, but I did have that gut feel, and I haven't felt like I had the gut feeling earlier on in the season, and then the last 8 game weeks I have felt like I've been slowly getting it back again. I've been getting mojo back. And I had the gut feeling not to go with Aguero, but I didn't listen to it. I just kind of reverted back to type. And so I don't know whether that's kind of my own fault rather than Aguero's fault. But the only other person I really considered was Kane. And yes, he would have got me 4 more points. But, you know, it's tough. That would have got me exactly average. So in a game week like the game week gone, it would have helped. But really, I should have thought about, and I should have captained Salah. So, and I didn't. So,
Should always captain Salah.
yeah. How about you? What member or members of your team are daft puffing it?
It could be the whole defence, it could be the whole midfield. But I've narrowed it down to Cesar Azpilicueta.
Azpilicueta.
He
Dave.
as
his
Dave.
mates call him.
Dave. I'm going to talk to you now,
Dave.
Dave. Dave, like some of my other players, got 0 points. This was additionally annoying because on Monday night...
Oh, there's an additional.
Yeah. Monday night, Twitter went into a meltdown when Alonso was not in the squad for the game.
Yes, that's true.
And I was kind of sitting there, owning Azpilicueta.
Feeling quite smug with yourself.
I was feeling good.
Yeah, no, I have to admit I did. A little
Especially
bit
against
with
Watford.
Courtois, so.
Especially against Watford. I was thinking, I could sneak a clean sheet here. Maybe even grab an assist or something. And it could be really good against all these people who have Alonso. And then
Finally some good this game week.
Yeah. And remembered as the goals were flying past him and Courtois into the goal that this was just a bad game week.
Yes.
And he ended up with the same points as Alonso. And probably in most cases, even less, because people would have had subs going in for Alonso.
Yeah, that's true.
And even some lucky so-and-so who had captained Alonso and vice-captained Salah.
Yeah, I did see that.
So it kind of went from being, woo, yeah, I'm going to get over these people, and then Dave just was like, no, screw you. So he's my Duff Puff. For the second week in a row, I may add.
It's starting to look like you might need to be thinking about putting him on the transfer pile, my friend. And that leads us in nicely to our possible transfers of the week. And to be honest with you, I think we can pretty much call it our bin of sin section too, because, you know.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's in there.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to say much more else than that. So does Dave make it into that category for you?
Dave, definitely.
Yeah.
He's definitely at risk of leaving my world-class squad. Obviously, there's been a big knock in my team because Zaha has picked up an injury.
Yeah.
And Roy says that he could possibly be out for a month. Ooh. So, to be fair, he hasn't really done much.
No.
I was actually thinking of getting him out to free him from the burden of my ownership. And maybe he could kick on and score some goals.
Yeah,
thinking of the greater good. But he got broke before I could do that.
Yeah.
Well, he will definitely go because I'm not losing any money or anything on him.
Yeah.
This weekend, the game week covers my birthday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday in advance.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So I didn't know if to...
Happy birthday to you.
Alright, see, that's staying in. Because there was so much fuss about me singing about Mkhitaryan. And Nim was like, oh, I'm not gonna sing. Whatever. So I don't know if to treat myself to a birthday wildcard.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Oh, a birthday wildcard. Happy birthday at McTavius. Happy wildcard birthday to you.
Oh, it's like Marilyn Monroe's in there. It's in the stream right now.
Didn't even warm up for that.
Oh.
Need to just do some, like, you know.
Some bars.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Those years of choir coming back to me there.
Oh, anyway. Insight into the life of them three.
So you're thinking wildcard?
yeah. Thinking possible. Maybe because, quite frankly, I've kind of felt like I've just kind of been phoning it in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like, oh, I'll do all these transfers, and I get there and I'm like, oh, I'll just sell someone and buy someone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've thrown in.
You've chickened out a couple of times.
Pretty much. And I've kind of been getting a bit confused about when these blank game weeks and stuff are. Like there was supposed to be one on the cup final, but then it's been moved to Thursday, but then that may not happen if Man City draw and need a replay in the cup. So I was kind of like, ugh. So I thought, I'll just spice up my team, throw in like a wild card and do it, and then just, because you got a free hit chip for like game week 31 or whatever that big blank game week is. And
well, actually, at Who Got the Assist did a really good article this game week about the possible way to navigate the coming weeks if you still have your chips left, or even if you don't have your chips left, it gives you a good idea on when you could use them and how to use them. So it's definitely worth checking them out at WGTA, and give it a read through and see if it helps you out, because it definitely made me be able to make sense of it a little bit better, because they had a plan, and I believe it was Tom had a plan, and he put his plan down in an article, and it was just kind of nice to see what somebody else's plan was, so it kind of gives you a good idea of how you could navigate it too. But I understand in your position, you've been thinking about it for weeks to wildcard, and if it feels right, I always say to people when they say to me, should I wildcard? I always say, the boring answer, which is, does it feel right for you now? Do you really feel like you need it? Does your team need it? And you've been saying about your defence now for weeks, and you've had problems for weeks, and you've sent me screenshots of teams for weeks, and yet you've still not wildcarded. And I think it comes to the point where you just have to kind of be, if it feels right, it feels right, go for it.
Yeah, because annoyingly I've had, in some of those screenshots, I've had players like Stevens in there, Fernandez and Ramsey were in there this week.
I couldn't believe your luck.
So if I'd done them, then it would have been fine.
If you'd had that last screenshot you sent me, it's just ridiculous. You might have to share that with the good people if you haven't already, because, that really... I
had a great draft.
You really would have kind of gone up the rankings with that, so...
Plus, it's just 1.6 mil. I'm not going to win. I'm conceding that I'm not going to be first this year.
Oh.
I'm not going to be top this year.
Well, never give up in your dreams.
I know, but I mean, sometimes you've got to be, got to face reality.
You've got to be realistic.
You've got to be realistic, yeah. I'm not going to finish number one. No. So I might as well just make it fun for the rest of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is one thing that recent events of my life has taught me, is that, FPL can be pretty all-consuming, but we do have to sometimes take a little step back and go, you know what, I know it doesn't feel like it's just a game, but really it is. The best thing to do is try and make it as fun as possible, really. And on that note, I honestly don't know what transfers we're going to make this week. Like you, my defence is shocking. Ruben's Loftus-Cheek is still injured, and now so is Kabasele. But
not kebab and salad.
Kebab and salad. But I just don't really have the extra funds to upgrade Ruben's Loftus-Cheek to anybody. So I'm kind of stuck in that 4.5 medieval area.
4.5 medieval area.
Yeah, it feels pretty medieval, believe me.
There are some dark ages going on right now.
Yeah, I really don't know
Historical pun there.
I really don't know many like 4.5 alternatives, to be honest, in that area. So I'm considering Deulofeu for Lingard.
He looked good on Monday. Better than Lingard has.
Definitely impressed. It would free up some funds to upgrade my defence or Ruben's Loftus-Cheek, as we were just talking about. Watford also guaranteed not to blank in that blank game week.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. Now I do.
But on the flip side, Lingard does have Newcastle, and although he hasn't had any attacking returns for the last few weeks, when I did watch, I believe it was Match of the Day, he did look like he was getting forward and still getting shots, on target and stuff, even with Sanchez there. So, it's not, it kind of feels a little bit sideways because it's getting a healthy player out for another healthy player, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Am I possibly chasing points with Deulofeu doing well, although it's not just because Deulofeu's done well. I'm trying to think forward as well, because it gives me funds and it covers me with another player for the blank game week if I decide not to use a chip. So then I've possibly got whether Kante goes or stays, because I'm kind of reluctant to sell Courtois if Chelsea get a new manager at this stage of the season. Yeah. They usually do quite well. So
manager bump.
And obviously with Kabasele, depending on how bad his injury is, with knowing that Watford won't blank, it seems a little bit kind of silly to sell him, although Watford have been pretty crappy at the back. So I'm possibly considering Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
That's what I'm nicknaming him for the place, because Stoke are also guaranteed not to blank that game. It would just be
Didn't know that.
But it would just be like a kind of like for like again. So I'm not really sure, but Stoke have done slightly better in defence than what Watford have recently. So yeah, not really sure. They're just kind of a load of my thoughts said at you and to everyone else.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to decipher any of that and give me the answers from the FPL gods, then I'd be grateful.
Your mission, if you choose to accept it, decipher them through your thoughts.
And deliver me all answers that I need to come first in the FPL, because I'm not giving up.
No, she never gives up. She's 800,000 something.
And
it's like nothing.
Yeah. Then, just DM me.
Just DM me.
So I believe you might have some listeners' questions for us.
We do.
Ooh, this is exciting.
And they all sort of relate to transfers in and outs and who's and not. So conveniently flows on from our possible transfers. The first one comes from one of your biggest fans, Mo.
Oh, Momo.
Momo.
Hey, Mo.
His question is it time to ditch Chelsea defenders / avoid all Chelsea players?
Ooh. Oh, well, that's a tough one. It's very difficult. I said it earlier, obviously, if Conte stays, then something's not right there, is it? It's not a happy camp. So, ditching all Chelsea players, I don't know. I mean, I think you want some cover in your team just in case they, hit form again. They do have good fixtures. It's the reason why we got them all in the first place. So
do have a couple of tricky ones coming up against the Manchester clubs, I want to say.
Yeah.
Back to back. It's only really been the last 2 games because they had that series of 3 clean sheets before then. They've conceded 7 goals in those 2 games. But then you have someone like Hazard who just picks up the ball and scores from ridiculous distance.
True. In all of these situations, I always tend to kind of lean towards, is their price worth their points value?
Yeah.
So the thing about Chelsea players are that by nature they are expensive. And at the moment, at least attacking-wise, although you'd be more likely, I suppose, to ship a defender, but at least attacking-wise, there are players that are doing as well as Hazard, if not matching him, for cheaper amount of money. If that can get you players elsewhere, then I would consider that. I'm not really sure who else you would necessarily have in attacking form from Chelsea. I mean, I think the jury's out a bit yet on Giroud. We don't really know yet how great he's going to be.
They didn't exactly throw him straight in to replace Morata.
No. But defensively, it's just difficult. I think you take the risk if you sell a Chelsea defender. You really do. There's a reason they're as expensive as they are, and if you can afford to get him back again, or them back again, I should say, should they start to do well again, then great, Get rid of them for the moment while they're figuring out their lumps and bumps.
Especially with Christensen being in and out. That sort of ruined that cheap Chelsea coverage that you could have had. But yeah, it's sort of, if you're going to have any Chelsea player, it's going to be a big investment. So it's just whether or not they are worth that investment.
Yeah.
A second question is from Mahutsu. And he asks, is it about time for Naughty Norton?
Oh, it's always time for Naughty Norton.
Well, he's off the back of a goal tonight.
Yeah, he is. He does have that potential every now and again to grab an attacking assist. I think there's a little bit of people getting caught up in Swansea having done well. But he has only got 1 clean sheet in the last 4. So Newcastle, he didn't get any points. Liverpool, he got his clean sheet. Arsenal got 2 points and Leicester got 2 points. And they face Burnley, Brighton and West Brom going next. Pretty much going all the way until Man United in game week 32. So, for a cheapie 4.5, you pretty much can't go wrong with Naughty Norton. But I wouldn't expect him to be getting you clean sheets every week.
No. There's worse you could get at 4.5.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Then a bit of Naughty Norton.
Yeah. Capelli. Kebab and salad.
Poor guy. And our last question comes from Kat in Canada.
Hey, Kat.
And she asks, now that we've seen potentially what some of the new transfers can do, should we jump in or be wary? Now, there was obviously quite a few movements throughout January.
Yeah, it was a busy transfer window.
There were some high-profile ones.
Yes.
Some have gone well and some have gone not so well. Obviously, your team's new signings got off to quite a good start in their home debuts. Mm-hmm. Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan from Armenia. Aubameyang grabbing his first goal.
Yeah. Controversially. But
well, he was as much onside as Kane was. Controversial. And Mkhitaryan grabbing his first hat-trick.
Yes.
Of assists.
Yes.
But on the other hand, Sanchez kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
Literally, miss a penalty.
I'm kind of placing Sanchez in that same kind of bracket as Hazard at the moment. I need to see far more attacking returns for their price, basically. It's always that for me, price versus points. And if they start getting the points, then they're worth their money, And so at the moment, I'm a bit nervous to get him in and invest all of that money when, there are a lot of players in that team who now look like they might be able to share points.
Yeah.
So until I see him kind of hitting kind of Salah numbers, then I don't really want to be paying that kind of money for him. Though he is an interesting differential.
Yeah. Expensive one.
Yes.
But very much differential.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some names at you. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to do a quick fire sort of, what was that game? Snog, marry, kill, something like that. Avoid? Was it kill? Oh, maybe it's a bit more extreme.
Yeah, yours is a lot more extreme. Snog, marry, avoid.
Yeah. But obviously, you can do whatever you want, but it just means
I
more...
ain't killing nobody.
Basically, yes, no,
or maybe.
And or maybe wait to see sort of thing.
Cool, that sounds good.
Right, Aubameyang.
Bye.
Giroud?
Maybe.
Deulofeu.
Bye.
Ooh.
Well, hang on, you're not answering these.
Okay. Mangala, don't buy. Don't buy that man, he doesn't know how to play football. Lennon, don't waste your money.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No.
Theo Walcott.
I have him, so he's a possible buy.
He's definitely a bargain.
Yeah. He was unlucky not to grab something against us.
Well, yeah, he was one-on-one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And kicked at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think he meant to do that. He didn't want to score against us, really.
Van Dijk.
Ooh.
Has he solidified that Liverpool back line? I don't think so.
So it's a no from you, is it?
Not for his price.
He's
5.5.
I think he's a maybe for me. I'm keeping an eye on him.
Oof.
Keeping a beady eye.
Someone you had your eye on earlier in the window, Tossan.
Yeah, no.
He hasn't really lived up to the hype.
Hasn't, I'm afraid. No.
He hasn't really featured.
Yeah. Cheers for that, Tossan. You're in so many of my draft teams. No, avoid.
Someone who was a victim of rotation.
Yeah.
You could say he got pepped. Laporta. Or Lapotra, whatever you want to say. With Stones out, you thought, maybe he could go in again like he did the previous game week, but they put company in.
Yeah, he's maybe again, isn't he? Because if he's playing, then, we've already seen he's another way into that back line for a good price. And I think we've mentioned it on the pod before. But until we know that he's nailed on, just avoid. Yeah.
Someone who caught many people's eyes on Sunday, Kennedy for Newcastle.
Yep, I have mentioned him. He looked good and he played well, but he was substituted.
Yeah, he did come off surprisingly early.
Yeah. And that worries me. I don't know whether that's just trying to get him to fitness or whatever. So
he didn't really play much for Chelsea before then.
I think he's a one to watch as well. But I think if you need somebody in that price bracket for a midfielder and you want to take a punt on somebody that may or may not play, that sits on your bench every week, you could get him in, just have him kind of there and for the week that you might like to take a punt on him. But I don't think we're really at that stage in the season where you can afford to waste transfers like that. So maybe just keep an eye out for him.
Touched him earlier, Sanchez. He seems to be settling in, but will he play every game? Especially with the Champions League coming up and Jose with his history of prioritising a European Cup.
Yeah.
Could that mean that he ditches bigger name players for the Premier League to try and win the Champions League, and because he's not going to win the title.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that.
Ooh.
They're probably safe for top 4, should I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he may prioritise playing people like Sanchez and stuff in the big Champions League games, not so much in the Premier League.
Yeah. I just go back to what I said earlier, that until Sanchez starts getting the points returns for his price, I really think he just lends himself to a maybe category. And with that as an added issue, you know, I've been Jose'd in the past, and it's not ended well. So,
Really, oh no.
So, yeah. I mean, if you got him in last game, because I know a lot of people did, then I wouldn't
A lot of people captained him as well.
I wouldn't be saying sell just yet, you know.
No, because he is, for what they're paying for him,
Yeah.
they're going to try and get them money out.
Oh, yeah, of course. And so should every FPL manager
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
paid the price for him. But, yeah, so just that one's just waiting game, I'm afraid.
One last one. He's injured at the moment. He's at Swansea, and you can't help but mention when there's a new Ayew at a team. Andre Ayew.
I think if you're looking for a cheap asset to your team, then keep your eyes open for an IU.
Listeners out there, which team are you in?
Ooh.
Which camp? Team Jordan or Team Andre?
Oh, pitting them against each other.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because I like to do that. Stirring it up between the brothers. So there's a few names in there. People like Aubameyang.
You didn't say Mkhitaryan.
I didn't say Mkhitaryan. How overlooked was that?
I know.
Would you buy him?
Ooh. I can't be giving away all my secrets.
Oh, that's true.
I think we might need to be a little bit careful. The reason I said buy for Aubameyang is that he is cup tied, which means
Dortmund, yeah.
that he will most likely, hopefully, be prioritised for the Premier League. However, Mkhitaryan might get used elsewhere alongside a Ramsey or any of our midfield, really. Iwobi, Wilshere, you know, any of the others. So
even Lacazette. He could have Lacazette for the Europa League and Aubameyang for the Premier League.
Exactly. So I think you're possibly a little bit safer with Aubameyang than you would be maybe for Mkhitaryan at this point until we know more what he plans to do with his lineups.
Yeah. People like Aubameyang, Walcott, Delafay. They're the sort of ones to go for.
Yeah.
Avoid Mangala. At all costs, avoid Mangala.
Yeah.
Seriously. And if you're trying to avoid Mangala, then you'll probably be at Wembley for our heavyweight game of game week 27, the North London derby, Spurs versus Arsenal.
Yeah.
Another tense weekend in the Nim household.
Yeah, just a bit.
Arsenal have been electric in their starts. At home, but away, they haven't been that great. Obviously losing to Swansea the last time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for quite a meaty 2-2.
Right.
Because obviously Spurs are quite electric as well. I mean, 9 seconds?
Yep.
Was it?
Well, Arsenal won the reverse fixture of this
They did,
last time round.
Yeah.
But that was at the Emirates. So now we're,
better at home.
But Spurs have won their last 2 home matches, as you say. So that was Man United and Everton. So not exactly terrible teams. And they have far better defence than us. So...
Wow. Not really say you could say that about Everton at the moment. But
yeah. I think I'm going to go 3-2 to Spurs, only because if I ever go with my team, I seem to jinx them. So
she's covering all the bases.
Harry Kane loves a goal against us. So he'll be right amongst it. Just that little question of whether he gets the retrospective ban for that possible dive.
If what I've heard on the radio is to be believed, the people overlooking the refs basically backed John Moss, was it? Okay. Basically, they backed the referee and said that Lovren did touch it, so he was onside, and he was correct in giving the foul for the penalty that he was touched. So, believing that they said that the ref was right, then they obviously don't see it as a dive. so they won't see it as a retrospective ban.
Well, that is unlucky.
Yeah.
Not for my FPL team, of course, but for Arsenal fans everywhere.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what I think. I will go with 3-2 Spurs, and hopefully I am very wrong. But our support fixture this game week is Liverpool versus Southampton. And we mentioned
down on the south coast
earlier a bit, didn't we, about Southampton and their
lack of clean sheets in 2018.
And the reverse fixture was 3-0 to Liverpool.
Yep, I remember saying that was going to be a Southampton shock win, and it wasn't.
Saints have drawn the last 2 times they've been at home.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for another draw. I'm going to go Desmond.
Oh.
What about yourself?
No, I'm not going for a draw.
Okay.
For the sheer fact that they haven't get the clean sheet, and Salah's imperious form, going with a 4-1 Liverpool win.
Fair enough. Yep, feeling much better about Captain Salah.
See, if it had been a surprise fixture, I would have said Southampton to win, but it's not.
No.
So Liverpool going to win.
So who is your surprise fixture?
My surprise fixture involves Chelsea and another quote-unquote smaller club.
You're going for giant killers again.
Well, I don't think West Brom are going to lose.
Okay, intriguing.
Well, Chelsea have lost the last 2 games, obviously, to quote-unquote smaller clubs.
Yeah.
Whereas West Brom have been in quite good form. Not being too radical, but, Rondon's not too bad. And I think that West Brom might get them on the set pieces.
Yeah.
With their defenders up there, Rondon.
Annoyingly, you will know that for weeks I have been saying about Brunt.
Yeah, she's been pretty blunt with her Brunt talk.
I have. I've been going Brunt's been looking good recently. Oh yeah, look at West Brom's form, Might want to keep an eye on Brunt. And then Brunt, and the more times I say Brunt, I get more angry that I haven't done anything about it, because I just feel like you really might be somebody you could consider for your team. So yeah,
it's like, oh, West Brom have scored. Oh, do you want to see who got the assist?
Bugger, it's Brunt again.
Oh, the emojis.
Secret weapons that always say secret with me.
Yeah, even from yourself.
Yeah, even from myself.
But I think that West Brom are going to win 2-1.
Okay.
Give me a third straight loss for Chelsea, and it's just going to go from worse to worse. Because Chelsea have a history of when they lose faith in their manager, the players literally just go on holiday until they get a new one. And they just don't bother. So I think West Brom and it's on Monday night again. I think West Brom will steal it. What about you? Is yours going to be as surprising as a Monday night fixture at Stamford Bridge?
Well, I've gone for the Swansea-Burnley match. As you say, 2 quote-unquote smaller teams. Last time Burnley won 2-0. So the Swans will be out for revenge.
Revenge of the Swans.
They can be nasty creatures.
They can be.
Burnley are on a bad run. 2 draws and 4 losses.
Their defence is very much gone.
Swansea doing as well as they did tonight. I really think Swansea could win this one, and I am actually going to go for a big one on this too. I'm going to go 3-1 Swansea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. So, well, there you go.
Yeah, you have me, so that's going to be fun.
There you go. That's our predictions. What are your predictions? You can let us know where they are on the Twitter page at FPL Journal blog, or you can rub my face in it when I get them wrong on my Twitter page at McTavius, and congratulate Nim when she gets hers right. At Nimfria TV.
That's the one.
Or on the website fpljournal.com. Nim's YouTube channel, where you will find this podcast and all the back ones. youtube.com/FPL Nimfria. And of course you can find the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher. Leave comments, likes, subscribes, reviews, other questions for next week.
Yep.
Thank you for Mo, Hutsu and Kat for the questions this week.
Cheers
and
for that.
Like them, never forget to keep popping.
#keep popping.